Well, good morning to you. You know, back on April 15th, you were probably paying your taxes that day, was also the day that we all commemorated Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier. And hence the hat, Detroit Tigers. I saw some of the festivities on some of the teams, and we all know that Jackie was the first and Larry Doby was the second. Jackie on the Dodgers and Doby with Cleveland. But, all the other teams, the other 14 teams, had their first as well. And I kind of wondered, who were they exactly? And when did they become a member of the team? So I did a little research, had a lot of fun with it because I just love to do that kind of stuff. And I'm going to show some cards as to who these guys were. And maybe we'll learn something new today. And one of the teams, you'll see it when we come upon it. The team had moved after putting their first African-American ball player on the team. They had moved to another location. And then, for reasons I don't understand, they had another first for the new team, which had a different name. And we'll see that as we go through it. So actually, you're looking at maybe 15 teams, plus Cleveland and Brooklyn. So I hope that makes sense. Okay? All right. So we know that Jackie Robinson was the first. It was April 15th, 1947, when he stepped onto the field with the Brooklyn Dodgers, changed the game forever. And he was born in Cairo, Georgia. I'm going to check the back of this card. I know that's where it's at, but I can't remember for sure. In 1919, he was raised out in California, over in Pasadena. He was a remarkable athlete from the very earliest of years. At the University of California, he became the first student to earn varsity letters in 4 sports: football, basketball, track and field, and of course, baseball. So after serving in the U.S. Army during World War II, where he stood up against discriminatory policies, Robinson continued his baseball journey with the Kansas City Monarchs, and that's a team in the Negro Leagues. From there, he made it to the Brooklyn Dodgers. So his talent, his determination, it turned him into a baseball star, one of the greatest stars of his era. And he had 10 seasons in the big leagues with the Dodgers from 1947 to 1956, and he helped lead his team to 6 National League pennants and a championship victory in the 1955 World Series. He won the National League Rookie of the Year in 1947, earned MVP honors in 49, became a 6-time All-Star, and captured 2 stolen base titles. Plus, he earned 3 All-Star recognitions in the Negro League, so going back to his early days. So by the end of his career, Robinson had compiled a .313 batting average with 141 home runs and 761 RBIs, leaving behind a legacy that transformed both baseball and American history. These cards are his true rookie cards. 1948 Leaf, and then, of course, the 1952 Topps card. That's his first Topps card, number 312. These are hot commodities. Who's anybody likes to collect these cards, but they are out of reach for many people. All right. This is Larry Doby, and he made history July 5th, 1947, being the first black player to integrate in the American League. And it was just 11 weeks after Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier. And it's Cleveland's owner at that time was Bill Veeck. You might remember him from the White Sox, but he was with the Indians first. He signed Doby on July 5th, 1947. So before joining Cleveland, this guy was already a star for the Newark Eagles in the Negro League. He became the first player to move directly from the Negro Leagues into the major leagues. His rookie season was difficult, though, as some teammates refused to shake his hand, and they were hostile, as well as the crowds in Cleveland. They were hostile as well, and everybody targeted him. Yet Doby continued to persevere despite hitting just 156 in a very limited action that year. Doby soon proved he belonged amongst the major leagues, and he was an elite player. And in 1948, he became the first African-American player to hit a home run in the World Series, helping Cleveland win the championship over the Boston Braves. Here is his true rookie card, the 1948 Leaf, Then in 1949, he was featured in the Bowman set and Topps set. Topps had this card of Larry in the 1952 set. He had a 13-year career, mostly with Cleveland. Larry became a 7-time All-Star, led the American League in home runs twice and RBIs once, and later managed the Chicago White Sox. Yeah, he was a manager, too. By the time he retired, Doby had compiled a .288 average, 273 home runs, 1,099 RBIs, and he had his place secured as one of baseball's true pioneers. So on July 17, 1947, the St. Louis Browns made baseball history by signing Hank Thompson and Willard Brown directly from the Kansas City Monarchs. It made them the third and fourth black players in the major league. So the St. Louis Browns had 2 ball players at the same time, making them the first 2 on that team. They were the first black teammates in modern MLB history, signed by general manager Bill DeWitt, and it really did strengthen a struggling club and connect with St. Louis's large black community. Thompson debuted on July 17th, and 3 days later the pair appeared together at Fenway Park. During his brief time with the Browns, Willard became the first black player in American League history to hit a home run, blasting one off the Hall of Fame pitcher, Al Newhouser. And that happened on August 13th, 1947. Racial conditions kind of limited both of these guys in St. Louis, kind of limiting their groundbreaking role as the first African-American teammates in Major League Baseball, but it helped them permanently reshape the sport. Now, here's Thompson's 1950 rookie card from Bowman. He's with the Giants here, and you'll see why that's important soon. Then I had to create a custom card here in the style of the 1947 Bowman set commemorating Willard Brown, because there weren't any mainstream cards of Willard Brown at that time. There were some Cuban things. I don't have access to those. I had to make one up, and here it is. Here is my 1954 Bowman of Hank. Now, I'm going to show it to you again because Hank was the first African-American ball player on a second team. So he was first twice. And him and Monty Irvin, again, just like him and Willard Brown, were 2 teammates on the same team. So it was Hank right here, along with this fella, Monty Irvin. I love this card. I love the 52 better, but I don't have that one. I do have a couple of other cards that are newer, but I thought these were really neat. This one is a card. This is a part of an insert set of all of the firsts and most of the other players that made it. Monty Irvin right here is just a beautiful card. This was from a Fleer set. And then I have this one as well. This is part of the Ted Williams collection, and this one I had autographed. So they were called up to the Giants from the minor leagues, and they both debuted together just like they did in the prior years with Willard Brown and Hank Thompson. They were brought up to face a black pitcher, the first in Major League history. They came up against Dodger rookie Don Newcomb. Thompson's journey back to the majors was especially meaningful because after helping integrate the St. Louis Browns like we had just discussed, along with Willard Brown in 1947, this made Thomas the first player to integrate 2 different Major League franchises. Now you see why his rookie card was with the Giants. Now, the arrival of Thompson and Irvin helped the foundation for the Giants' powerful teams of the 1950s. And in Game 1 of the 1951 series, Thompson and Irvin joined rookie sensation Willie Mays to form the first all-black outfield in the major leagues. And Thompson went on to post a batting average above .275 with 144 home runs, 568 RBIs during his career, while Irvin became one of baseball's most respected stars with a .305 batting average, 139 home runs, and 684 RBIs. Irvin earned an all-star selection back in '52, and he led the National League in RBIs in 1951 and won a World Series title in 1954. He was inducted into Baseball Hall of Fame in 1973. So together, Thompson and Irvin not only broke barriers for the Giants, but also helped transform the future of Major League Baseball. 1952 Topps, the first card for Hank Thompson, and Monty Irvin's first card was the 1951 Topps Redback, which is very affordable, surprisingly. Next fella up, this guy, Sam Jethro. The 1952 Bowman. And I've got a 1951. So Sam Jethro made history in April of 1950 when he integrated the Boston Braves, becoming the first black player to appear for a major league team in Boston. Nicknamed the Jet for his incredible speed, Jethro, he was debuting on April 15th, 1950, against the New York Giants at the Polo Grounds. He collected 2 hits, including a home run, in an 11-4 victory over the Braves. And he was 33 years old when he went on to win the National League Rookie of the Year. He had 18 home runs and led the league with 35 stolen bases, becoming the oldest player ever to win the honor. And during his career, Jethro batted .277, 59 home runs, 282 RBIs, and 135 stolen bases, while twice leading the National League in steals. Now, before reaching the majors, he starred in the Negro Leagues as a 5-time All-Star, a multiple batting champ, and a Negro League World Series champ, leaving behind a legacy as one of Boston's most important baseball pioneers. This is the Jets rookie cards right here, the true rookie with the 1950 Bowman, and his first Topps card from 1952. I'm about to show you one of my favorite cards that I'm going to present here today. It's this one. 1955 Bowman Minnie Minoso. I'm just going to let you savor that for a minute. I love this card. Love it. And I'm going to show you this card. 1954 Bowman. Got a little something there on his face. I didn't notice that until I was looking at it. Not sure what that is. And then this is the best card of the 3 that I'm going to show you of Minnie's. His true rookie. I just love this. This is just a beautiful card. 1952 Bowman. True rookie card right here. He was known as the Cuban Comet and one of the baseball's greatest pioneers. And he was just electrifying when he was out on the field. And he became the first black Cuban player in the major leagues when he debuted with Cleveland in 1949. Later became the first black player in Chicago White Sox history on May 1st, 1951. In his very first at-bat for Chicago, he launched a 415-foot home run against the Yanks and immediately won over all the White Sox fans. Minoso enjoyed a remarkable career that stretched across 7 different decades, even returning at age 50 in 1976 to collect a hit against the California Angels. A 9-time All-Star, 3-time stolen base leader, 3-time Gold Glove winner, and Negro League champion in 1947. Minoso finished his career with a .299 batting average, 2,113 hits, 195 home runs, and a lasting legacy as one of baseball's most important international trailblazers. I love that card in 1977. Yeah, this one. It kind of celebrates that playing in several different decades. This is a great card. When I got it in 77, I didn't realize its importance. I do now. This is Bob Trice, and he showed up on September 13, 1953, was first man to play for the Major League team in Philly. He made his debut as a starting pitcher at Connie Mack Stadium. It was during a doubleheader against the St. Louis Browns, and over 3 Major League seasons from 1953 to 1955, Trice compiled a 9-9 record with a 5.80 ERA and 28 strikeouts. He also proved to be a very capable hitter as far as pitchers go, batting .288 with a home run, 6 RBIs, and 8 runs scored, adding another layer to his pioneering career. 1954 Topps right here, number 148. All right, the next one is another one of those 2 players that integrated the team. First guy is this fella. He's made a couple of appearances on my channel, kind of looking at that Band-Aid on his forehead. Him, along with this guy. Yeah, these 2 guys, made history on September 20th, 1953, as the first black players to break the color barrier for the Chicago Cubs. Banks debuted on the 17th and quickly became known as Mr. Cub, as the first African-American player to appear for a game in that franchise. And just 3 days later, Baker made his debut on September 20th. And some historians believe he was the first black player officially listed on the Cubs' active Major League roster. That's a technicality, but he might have been the first, and he joined second. But they did play together. They both came from the Negro Leagues, and Banks joined the Cubs without spending time in the minor leagues. That was still pretty unheard of. I wouldn't say unheard of, but rare. Banks went on to become one of baseball's greatest stars and finished his Hall of Fame career with a .274 batting average, 512 home runs, 1,636 RBIs, a 14-time All-Star. He won back-to-back National League MVP awards back in 1958, 1959. He also led the league in home runs twice, earning 2 RBI titles and captured a Gold Glove before entering the Hall of Fame in 1977. Now, Baker also enjoyed a successful Major League career, batting .265 with 39 home runs and 227 RBIs. He earned an All-Star selection in '55 and later became a World Series champ in 1960, helping pave the way for future generations of black players in Chicago. Here's another one of those great Negro League insert cards from Fleer. This is with Ernie Banks. I'm just amazed at the Ernie Banks, how he just came up and just owned Chicago for several decades. When anybody thinks of old-timers that played in Chicago, he's top 3, maybe top 2. Okay, next fella, this guy, Curt Roberts. He made history on April 13th, 1954, when he became the first black player to appear for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He started at second base on opening day against the Philadelphia Phillies. He was born in Pineland, Texas. A lot of fellas born down in Texas, especially during those days. He was raised out in Oakland, California, though. He began his professional baseball career at just 17 years old with the legendary Kansas City Monarchs. His strong play in the Negro Leagues earned him an opportunity to break in with the Pirates. He just played so well that they loved him a lot. He was starting at second base for several years. Now, during his rookie season, Roberts served as Pittsburgh's everyday second baseman, appearing in 134 games while handling the enormous pressure that came with being a trailblazer. You've heard that from other players here in this program so far. And though he batted just 232 that year, teammates and fans both, they respected that smooth fielding, steady presence, a calm demeanor on the field. Roberts finished his major league career with a .223 batting average, 1 home run, and 40 RBIs. And this is his rookie card, 1954 Topps. Okay, here's an interesting story. April 13th, 1954, Tom Alston stepped onto the field at Sportsman's Park and made history as the first African-American ball player to appear for the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, this guy was big, 6'5". He was a first baseman and started against the Chicago Cubs on opening day. And he was breaking the color barrier that day for one of baseball's most tradition-rich franchises, the Cardinals. Alston arrived in St. Louis carrying an enormous amount of expectations. The Cardinals paid the San Diego Padres more than $100,000 and 4 players for his contract, making him the most expensive black ball player at that time. And for a player already just trying to prove himself at the major league level, the pressure was immense for Mr. Alston. His baseball journey, however, became far more difficult than anyone realized. He had to compete against big league pitching, which he hadn't seen very much of. He battled chronic fatigue, mental health struggles, and an emotional burden of being a racial pioneer in a segregated Jim Crow city. Voices in his head, other mental health challenges slowly affected both his life and his baseball performance. And between 1954 and 1957, Alston appeared in 91 Major League Baseball games, batting .244 with 4 home runs and 36 RBIs before leaving baseball and returning home to North Carolina. After his career ended, his struggles continued, and he eventually lived on disability benefits, kind of far removed from the spotlight of Major League Baseball. Now, years later, Alston's story finally received attention and compassion. In 1990, television personality and former player Joe Garagiola learned about Alston's situation and helped arrange financial support through an organization assisting former ball players. Now, Garagiola also convinced the Cardinals to honor Alston's place in team history. That June, before a game against the Cubs in St. Louis, Tom Alston returned to the ballpark to throw out the first ceremonial pitch. Now, the crowd stood and cheered, and the man who had quietly broken the Cardinals' color barrier decades earlier finally received the recognition he deserved. This is his rookie card, the 1955 Bowman. Beautiful card. Here's Chuck Harmon. He made history on April 17, 1954, when he became the first African-American player to appear for the Cincinnati Reds. Manager Bertie Tibbetts called on Harmon to pinch hit in the 7th inning against the Milwaukee Braves at County Stadium, and that marked an important moment in Reds history. Harmon collected his first major league hit just days later on April 25th, singling off pitcher Howie Pollitt, and a victory over the Chicago Cubs at Crosley Field. Now, before baseball, Harmon was also a standout basketball player who went on to win 2 Indiana State basketball championships in high school. Now, over 4 major league seasons, he batted .238 with 7 home runs and 59 RBIs, later continuing his career in the minors before becoming a respected scout for the Cleveland Indians and the Atlanta Braves and the Indiana Pacers in the NBA. This is his 1954 Topps rookie card. Okay, now, before becoming truly international, before stars from Cuba regularly filled the major league rosters, one man quietly made history in Washington. This is Carlos Paula, or I think his name is, it doesn't say on the back, but I remember reading that his full name was Carlos Paula Connell. He was born in Havana, Cuba on November 28, 1927. And he was a powerful right fielder that stood 6'3", weighed 195 pounds, and carried dreams much larger than the island he called home. On September 6, 1954, Paula stepped out onto the field at Griffith Stadium for his major league debut with the Senators. And that moment changed baseball history forever. He became the first black player to ever wear a Washington Senators uniform. Now, Paula appeared in 9 games during the first month, showing flashes of talent and confidence at the plate, but more importantly, he showed courage during a difficult era for black and Latino ballplayers. Over 157 major league games from 1954 to 1956, Carlos Paula compiled a strong .271 batting average, hit 9 home runs and drove in 69 runs, and scored 44 times. Though his major league career was brief, his impact reached beyond the box scores. Like many players of his generation, Paula's baseball journey continued through the minors after leaving the big leagues. This is his 55 Topps card, and it's his only card. So if you want to collect these guys, this is the only card you'll be able to get of Carlos. Now, this card, although it's miscut, is Joe Durham, who began his professional baseball journey in the Negro Leagues with the Chicago American Giants before being signed by Bill Veeck and entering the St. Louis Browns organization prior to the 1953 season. And when the Browns relocated to become the Baltimore Orioles, now remember what I said earlier about how the Browns showed off their first Negro League ball players? Well, they became the Baltimore Orioles, and this fella became one of the Baltimore Orioles' first African-American ball players. Does that make sense? I hope so. He was eventually called up in September and quickly impressed, recording 9 hits with 44 plate appearances over 10 games, including his first major league home run against Al Cima of the Philadelphia Athletics on September 12th. Except for a season spent in the New York Yankee system in 1963, Durham remained deeply connected to the Orioles organization through 1964 as a player, and later serving as a batting practice pitcher, front office employee, and coach for the Frederick Keys. Altogether, Joe Durham dedicated more than 40 years of his life to the Orioles organization, leaving behind a lasting legacy of loyalty and service to the game. Here's his 58 card. This is another big one right here, a name you're going to recognize. This is Elston Howard, and he made baseball history on April 14th, 1955, when he became the first African-American player to appear for the New York Yankees. Now, before he reached the majors, Howard was starring as a catcher and outfielder for the Kansas City Monarchs. He was talented and quickly caught the attention of the Yankee scouts. And after joining the Yankees, he became a key member of the Yankees dynasty and one of the most respected players of his era. In 1963, Howard broke another barrier by becoming the first black player in American League history to win the MVP award. A 12-time All-Star and 2-time Gold Glove catcher in 1963 and 64, Howard also played in 10 World Series and helped the Yankees win 4 championships. Following his playing careers, he continued to make history for the Yankees, the first black coach, contributing to 2 more World Series titles in the late 1970s. Over his remarkable career, Howard compiled a .274 batting average with 168 home runs, 775 RBIs, and that kind of cemented his legacy as both a pioneer and one of the Yankees' all-time greats. This is a beautiful 1955 Bowman rookie card. I have a few cards here, but I'm choosing to show this one because it's just the coolest card. And I do have these cards here too. These are kind of new. Again, this is from that Fleer series called Stitches in Time, which really takes a good look at the Negro League players. I'm working on this entire set, so I've got a few of the cards. And here's another one. This is from the Upper Deck 2004 Sweet Spot Classic, and this commemorates everything we just talked about regarding Elston Howard. It's a beautiful card. Let you look at it for a sec. Okay, now the next fellow we're talking about is John Irvin Kennedy. He made history as the first American player to sign with the Philadelphia Phillies and the final National League team to integrate after fielding an all-white roster through the 1956 season. Kennedy impressed the Phillies in 1957 during their spring training exhibition games. He hit over 300, and the manager, Mayo Smith, really liked him and said that Kennedy would have been the team's starting shortstop if the season began that day. However, Philadelphia Phillies later acquired Chico Fernandez from the Brooklyn Dodgers and named him the starter instead. So on April 22nd, 1957, at Roosevelt Stadium, Kennedy officially broke the Phillies' color barrier when he entered the game against the Brooklyn Dodgers as a pinch runner for Sally Hemus. The moment came exactly 10 years after former Phillies manager Ben Chapman notoriously led a racist verbal attack against Jackie Robinson during Robinson's rookie season, making Kennedy's debut a powerful symbol of baseball's slow but important progress toward integration. Now, Kennedy does not have a rookie card, so I made a card of him in the style of the 1957 top set. All right, Ozzie Virgil. He carved out an important place in baseball history in 1958 when he became the first black and Afro-Latino player to appear for the Detroit Tigers. He's a native of the Dominican Republic. Virgil arrived in Detroit following a trade from the San Francisco Giants, I believe, and quickly made an unforgettable impression in his first home game at Briggs Stadium on June 6, 1958. He electrified the crowd by going for a flawless 5 for 5 at the plate. Now, known for his athletic versatility, Virgil played nearly every position on the field during his 9-year major league career, missing only just pitcher and center field while spending several seasons with the Tigers between 1958 and 61. The Society of American Baseball Research credits him as the first Dominican-born player to reach the major leagues, helping open the door for countless players from the Dominican Republic in the decades that followed. Now, although he finished with a .231 batting average, 14 home runs, and 73 RBIs, Virgil's lasting impact came through the barriers he shattered at the opportunities he created for future generations of Latino ballplayers. This is his 1959 Topps rookie card. Now, Pumpsie Green, he secured his place in baseball history when he became the first black player to suit up for the Boston Red Sox, the last original Major League franchise to integrate Boston. He was born Elijah Jerry Green in 1933. This versatile switch-hitting infielder made his debut on July 21st, 1959, appearing as a pinch runner against the Chicago White Sox. He initially filled in as backup role behind infielders Pete Runnels and Don Budden. Green became a regular contributor in 1960, playing in 133 games for Boston during his major league career. He also played for the Mets later on and recorded a .246 batting average along with 13 home runs and 74 RBIs in 344 games. Green's career also featured one of baseball's oddest off-field moments in 1962 when he and teammate Gene Connolly left the team bus during a Bronx traffic jam in search of a restroom, and only for the bus to just drive away and leave him. Took off without him, and Connolly famously disappeared for 3 days before being discovered at Idlewild Airport. He's trying to catch a flight to Israel without luggage or even a passport. Just kind of created a bizarre story that I will cover later on. And it was linked to Pumpsie Green's groundbreaking baseball journey. That's kind of funny, I guess. Pumpsie made it back to the ballpark and didn't get in too much trouble, I don't think. Anyway, he went on to play a little bit longer, and this is his rookie card. It's the Topps card from 1960. There you go. Those are all the firsts for the players to integrate baseball in America. Now you know more than just the first two. Talk soon.